Oh, this is this is Benji.
Hey Benji, what you doing?
He's a good boy. What's up, man? What's up, man? You doing good? I'm not gonna chase you today, man. I'm not gonna chase you today. I'm sorry.
Your neighborhood dog, I guess?
Yeah, he's right across there. So, but yeah, so this is a municipal greenway. It used to be a bunch of houses, but built in the floodplain, they had to be knocked down. FEMA actually came in, the federal government, gave the land to the city afterwards, and then for a couple decades they were just mowing it. And you couldn't even see the creek because it was choked out by invasive species, mostly amber honeysuckle, little shrubs.
Cool. So I guess when you heard about this project with Lexington trees, and you heard the possibility of, oh wow, we may be able to actually plant native. Are these native Kentucky trees?
Everything in here is native. We do have some oddballs, like we have a variety of peach that was actually a genetic lineage that the native people of this continent kind of took care of after the Spanish invaders brought it to Florida, and then those genetics came up through the trade networks and ended up in Kentucky. So we do have a couple things like that. Hey, buddy. And lots of
Hey, no
fun with the neighbors.
No problem at all.
But
so when you heard about this grant program, you thought, okay, now we can, like, there's actually a chance here we can plant native Kentucky trees here. We can actually see this thrive, this property thrive again. What was kind of your initial thoughts and reaction?
yeah, so historically, all the money that we've had, all the funding we've had to do work in here has come from water quality grants. So it's very tied into riparian buffer restoration. And with some of the success that we were having with that, showing proof of concept, we were able to convince the city to let us kind of come upslope and reforest, so to speak, the whole greenway. And so with Lex Grow Trees, it's really the first time in my memory, at least in Lexington, that there's been funding specifically for tree canopy establishment. So that has allowed us to really diversify some of what we're doing, put some of that water quality funding into some of the herbaceous plants, the pollinator support kind of plants, and then really focus with the Lex Grow Trees money on fruit and nut bearing species, berry shrubs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and what have you heard? Obviously, I know there's specifics, but what have you heard in terms from neighbors about this program? Are they thankful?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing has just been that people are coming and using the space now. People couldn't even see the creek, right? So the first thing that happens when you open that up is the neighborhood kids start showing up and they're climbing over stuff and playing. And so we talk to them and then they go home, tell their parents about it. Anytime somebody's out working in their yard or whatever, and I see them, I'll talk to them, explain what's happening. We've had lots of community events out here. We had a big bonfire actually on the solstice back in December that was pretty well attended. Not just neighbors from here, but also supporters of Geomancer. And so every chance we get, we have monthly events out here where people can volunteer and also just be in the space and talk about our perspectives for how we want to see it develop in the future. And yeah, it's been overwhelmingly positive.
What's been the reaction or excitement around the trees?
Well, so we have, for instance, this isn't a tree per se, but a gooseberry bush that we have a neighbor here who grew up, his mother always made him gooseberry pies because they had one of those in their backyard. So that was like, okay, we're gonna plant one for you right in front of your house, right? We try to talk to people about the specific species, what they can expect from them, what times of year they can harvest. So people get pretty excited about that. We had one neighbor, Susan, who had lived here for over 50 years, and she had some pawpaws that she had brought from her old home in eastern Kentucky in her backyard. And when she sold her house, and she's retired now and went off to a farm, but she gave us some of the pawpaws from her backyard. So now we have them here. So as much as possible, we try to create those connections between the people and whatever's getting planted.
You know, obviously with anything that's grant funded, it has to go back on the table and be approved again. What would you say, what would be your argument of continuing to fund Lex Grow Trees and fund the tree canopy in Lexington?
Yeah, I think one thing is just the leadership that it shows, that we have proof of concept for these projects that wouldn't exist otherwise. And so it gives people something really tangible to look at and say, oh, this is possible. And with these programs, with any kind of tree programming, with any kind of ecology, really, it takes years, right, to see the emergent benefits, the effects, the beneficial kind of properties emerge. And so This has given us the ability to do that, and now we have people actually regionally. I've been invited to speak all over the state at this point because of this project, because there's other cities who are looking at Lexington and seeing that you can have this kind of riparian area restoration, but cross-pollinate with a neighborhood amenity so that you get a lot of community buy-in for it where you probably wouldn't otherwise. And so it's become a source of inspiration, and the sky's the limit at that point. Once you get people believing that this is actually possible, it empowers them to do that kind of thing in their own neighborhoods.
And what's your message about other neighborhoods, other community areas getting involved and if the program continues, really trying to get some trees planted in, I guess, their neck of the woods?
Yeah, I mean, my message to people is always that I think all of us are feeling this kind of collective sense of alienation and disempowerment around some of the processes that are happening in our world right now, and not really knowing how to engage with that in a beneficial way. And planting a tree is like such a practical material intervention on the landscape that gets you and your community making a positive impact right there in that moment. And then from that, it really helps kind of change your thinking out of that disempowerment to, well, what else can I do? Or how else can I have a positive impact? And so it can be the seed that really goes well beyond just planting trees. Although, of course, there's plenty good to be said about just the trees themselves.
And just last question, what's been your favorite part of this whole project? I know that this is a project itself, but just specifically the trees.
It's been exactly that. It's been the physical process of this is really tough soil that we have here. These urban impacted soils are difficult to work in. So it takes a lot of hands, and it takes a lot of people coming in and helping, watering the trees, mulching the trees, right? And so that's given people something tangible that they can plug into. And then a lot of people have met each other through this project. A lot of people have used this as a point of reference, that they know that this is now a place, right? Like, it didn't used to be a place. You would never say, let's meet in the Greenway, but now it's a food forest. People are making plans here. People are coming here, having events. So that's really cool.
And is there anything else I didn't ask you that you think is important to mention?
We're just going to plug Geomancer Permaculture. We're trying to do this all over the state, all over the world, and this is just the beginning. So thank you, Let's Grow Trees, for making this leg of it possible.
Good job, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.